Welcome back to AgriTalk from Phoenix, Arizona, the 8th Annual National Biodiesel Conference. We just talked with the chairman of the National Biodiesel Board, Gary Hare, talking about how the industry overall is rebounding this year now that the tax credits are back, plus the demand from the Renewable Fuel Standard 2, RFS 2. So now let's focus in on a particular state and see how the state of Kansas is rebounding. Joining us now is Kenlon Johannes, administrator for the Kansas Soybean Commission. Kenlon, good to see you again. What's going on in your state with the biodiesel industry as far as kind of reinventing itself or restarting after the year of limbo?
Well, thank you, Mike. Yeah, we are maybe a typical example of what happened in a state. I know as we looked this last summer, we bring an intern in, and they look through our bulk distributors, our retail outlets, and we lost what we estimate as 3/4 of our bulk sales and our retail. If you can't buy it, how in the world, or if it's not available, how can anybody buy it? So we're in the process of, I guess, rejuvenating our fuel marketers, and we're getting a few producers that are coming into the state too now, just small producers.
So attracting some new producers?
Well, yes, we actually had a plant open up in Wichita, a small one, and we've got one in Sedgwick, north of Wichita. There's one down in Mineola, which is south of Dodge City, and then we've got one in Cottonwood Falls too. So 4 small plants trying to work their way through it. We've got a small tax incentive in Kansas yet that we maintain through the budget crunches of our state legislature, but now with this federal tax incentive in place, I think we really feel rejuvenated ourselves that we're going to go after this.
People wonder why is it so important to have that tax incentive, and basically it's to be able for the biodiesel industry to be competitive with in the diesel market.
Well, yes, it certainly is, and the price of soybean oil has been now tracking along with the price of petroleum, and it tracks with that federal tax incentive, sometimes figured in already. So that was our challenge. The price of diesel and soybean oil and that whole formula got really screwed up when we lost the tax incentive. We've got it this year. We're rejuvenating. In fact, Scott Zaremba is in the process of putting 8 of his EcoStar stations up across in 4 counties in Kansas, so we're pretty excited about working with him, and we see this as a good opportunity to make another push for biodiesel.
The question we've been asking, how long will it take the industry to really get back up to where it was prior to last year? How quickly do you think that can happen?
Well, it could be a matter of months, we hope. I think we're going to do some work with our petroleum marketers in the state of Kansas. They have several events that we attend, and we're members of the petroleum marketers, and those are the guys on the leading edge of getting biodiesel to the consumer. So we're going to continue to remind them of the opportunities, and then we provide them with lists of B100 suppliers, and we're going to rejuvenate that list and find out, and then just say, hey, it's time to revamp. That's one thing good about biodiesel is the infrastructure for diesel works for biodiesel. So with that advantage, it should not take as long to ramp up as maybe with some other industry.
Who are your big users of biodiesel in Kansas?
Well, Kansas Department of Transportation is still using it. They might have dropped back a little bit because they're based on a formula as long as the price of biodiesel isn't that much more than diesel fuel, so we haven't checked into that. But that and our farmers are still using it. Many of them are hanging in there with increased cost. We know some of the bulk distributors that would no longer handle it, so some had to drop off. So we're going to do a push with our farmers, too, to get them rejuvenated now that the price should be right in there with diesel fuel.
It means jobs for Kansas, too.
Well, it certainly does, and that's been the disappointing part. We've had the challenge of trying to get the state started. We're on the edge of the soybean belt. We're on the edge of kind of where biodiesel production would come, and we're just going to have to continue to work hard with. And our checkoff, I think, does that. And we've got good checkoff funds now to work and continue to promote biodiesel.
All right, Kenlon, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Kenlon Johannes, administrator for the Kansas Soybean Commission. Kansas, like many other states, really starting that have been in the biodiesel industry and the production of biodiesel, now starting to ramp back up and try to rebound from a very, very tough year. All right, we mentioned this earlier, but this was introduced last year, a program to really get young college students, research students, very much involved in biodiesel and applying their talents to research and development for biodiesel. We're going to talk with a young man that's very much involved with that. Coming up next, stay with us. It's halftime on AgriTalk.